This is a 1981 Tioga, and as you can see, it's in really good condition. It's almost 40 years old, and it looks really good. Whoever the previous owner was obviously took really good care of it. But I want to do a walk around and just kind of show you what a 1981 Tioga looked like. And I really think that this is probably one of the cleanest ones out there. This is a pretty short one. I think it's 21 feet long. It does have a generator. It has an Onan in it. I believe it's a 4K. And it's got a 350 under the hood. I'm not sure what transmission is mated with this, but at this moment it runs good and it sounds good. Now, looking from the back to the front, you can see this vehicle is in exceptionally good condition. The interior is almost perfect. I like to call vehicles of this quality, this age, and this condition a time machine, because it's pretty much like walking back in time. This vehicle pretty much looks about like it did when it rolled off the assembly line. Now, some of the features of this little gem is an extremely large front bunk room. They actually raise the roof. It has a bump up, and that's where the roof goes up about 4 inches, and it gives you 4 inches more headroom in this front bunk. It's extremely spacious. It's very nice. There are cabinets everywhere. They're all around, as you can see. And here's where I was talking about the bump. It goes up a good 4 inches, maybe a little bit more, to give you a little more headroom in the bunk area. It's a very clever trick that they used to do back in the 80s. The storage is just awesome. There's closet space, there's closet in the back corner, there's all the cabinets across the tops and the sides. It's very well put together. The engineering of this particular RV was done right. It just feels right. It's solid. There's not a lot of creaks when you're driving it. It's a very nice motorhome. Now, the fridge is actually quite large, especially for a 21-foot camper. It's got a nice sized icebox, and the refrigerator itself is very spacious. And as you all know, these older campers usually didn't have this big of a fridge. I do know this has been replaced sometime, in the last couple decades. And in fact, it has a problem now. We'll have to tear it apart and fix it. But it is extremely spacious, and I don't think the hole was cut any bigger. I believe this was the actual size of the previous refrigerator. They just put a new one in. Now, in 81, slide outs weren't really a thing, but they did do something that I kind of like. This little bump out kitchenette works really well because you can work here at the kitchen and there's still room for people to pass by and go into the living quarters. So you're not in their way when you're working in the kitchen. That definitely was a good design in a way, kind of around a bump out. You still have room to work and other people can walk by you. Now, for a 21-foot camper, the bathroom is fantastic. You do have a nice little decent sink over here. There is actually a tub in the back, and as you can see, there's plenty of room to get your business done. There's even a cupboard up at the top to store some things. It's very nice. Now, walking around the outside, we'll talk about some of the underbelly storage compartments, which also was kind of relatively new at the era. When RVs kind of first were introduced to the market, such as Winnebagos, there really wasn't a whole lot of underbelly storage. There is some on this unit, which is very handy. Underneath this door is actually the access panel to the LP. The propane tanks are stored underneath the belly, and they are permanent, and you can fill and get to it for this door. There is some underbelly storage right here. It's actually pretty decently sized, and right now there's some leveling ramps inside. This is the generator. We will take a look at it. It is your typical Onan, which were rock solid at the time. They were very well built. Inside this compartment right here is the electrical cord. You can coil it up, keep it out of the way, and when you need to get to it, you just, open the door and pull the cord out. There is 2 gas tanks on this. There's a fill here and a fill here. There's a small auxiliary tank. I think it's about 10 gallons. That way, if you were to run out of gas, you could switch over and, pick you up a little more distance so you could get to the gas station. Over here is the hot water heater, and down here is another little compartment door. We'll take a look inside it, and you can see it's nice. It's got a little bit of space to store some things. Little underbelly storage, pretty new for the era or the time. So overall, the RV is in excellent condition. I just cannot believe how clean this rig is. Most of these RVs, they just weren't well kept over the years. This one, somebody must have really loved it. It looks really nice. So there you have it. I just thought I'd do a quick tour of this Tioga. Thought maybe somebody might be interested at least.